Now, one of the most rewarding aspects of owning a home is being able to come to that home and enjoying an in-ground pool. You know what's not enjoying? All the maintenance and all the cleaning required when you own an in-ground pool. Well, that's where this robot here from AIPER comes in. This is one of the most advanced robots that we've had on the channel that make pool ownership a breeze. We're talking about the AIPER SCUBA S1 Pro Max. This robot makes cleaning your pool delightful. It eliminates all the manual process. Not only will it take care of all the debris that could fall into your pool at the bottom of the pool, but it skims the top of your pool, the very top of the pool, for you as well. Let's go ahead and check it out. Now, we've been pool owners for well over 20 years, and we have tried to automate as much as we can when it comes to the maintenance of our pool. And you can see in the background right there, 2 AIPER robots that are taking care of the surface of our pool. So when AIPER reached out and said, would you like to take a look at our most advanced robot to date? I said, absolutely yes. And this right here, guys, is the AIPER SCUBA X1 Pro Max. This is the most advanced robot that we've experienced on the channel when it comes to pool cleaning. And it is one of the most sturdy and robust ones that we've seen. I'm gonna tilt down for a second because we gotta get this entire robot into frame here so you can see this. It looks like a sci-fi futuristic tank. And I have to tell you, it is built like one too. This has treads on both sides that is going to allow you to navigate many parts of your pool. This is, as they refer to it, an all-in-one cleaning system. It cleans your walls of your pool. So that means that the sides right there that you see for where the pool is, those sides, it's going to clean them. It's going to also do the floors, right? It's going to do the water line. Now, the water line is where you see that robot right now skimming at the very top. That is your water line, right? But it also is going to skim the surface as well. So what that means is that you've seen those robots that I have floating in the background where it's actually taking care of anything that falls on top. So any kind of leaves, any kind of bugs, this robot will do it as well. So this is an all-in-one. This will take care of the bottom of the pool, the middle of the pool, and the top of the pool as well. In addition to that, it has one of the most advanced mapping solutions that I've seen in a robot of this class. So it is going to scan your actual pool. And that was actually one of our first experiences. When I turned it on and put it in the water, it just started like turning around. And it was as if it was looking at the pool in every direction that it possibly could to understand my pool so that it could give it the best cleaning possible. In addition to that, it has powerful filtration. This, you know, sometimes you say it sucks. This sucks, but it sucks in a really good way. We're talking 8,500 gallons per hour that this thing can actually suck from the suction it has, which that's going to translate to super deep cleaning. It has a very fine filter, so all those little particles, the dust that could accumulate on the bottom of your pool, this thing is going to be able to take care of it, and it's going to keep it in the system, and it's not going to fall out when you take it out of the water. It also then has surface parking, which I love, right? This is my first robot that I have that has surface parking. Typically the robots, when they're navigating in the pool, they come to the corner and then you have to stick a pole in the water and then you pull it out. This guy right here surfaces to the top and it's waiting in one of the corners for me to just bend over, lean over, and pull it out of the pool. I am absolutely excited about that because I don't have the fish for the pole. And sometimes when I'm using the pole, I have to put on the hook because I'm using the pole for maybe from some scrubbing or something else that I'm going to be doing with it. So the fact that this comes up and I need no tools to take it out, absolutely love this as well. Now, it also has a real-time app that you're going to be able to control this. So this is app controlled, and they do have an additional solution that actually looks at your water. It's called the HydroCom. And the HydroCom Pro is something that you'd put in your pool. It's almost like a relay, but it also keeps your track of your water quality as well, which is also a good thing to have. We don't have it in our test, but it's something that we read about and we thought that it was a really good option for those of you who are looking to have a 100% peace of mind of everything that's going on in your pool. Let's take a closer look at the robot because this is, again, an amazing machine. So first thing you see right here is that obviously we have the treads, right? The treads are going to allow it to navigate up and down. And you can see that I have some spots on mine right now because we've been using this. We have a saltwater based pool. Our pool is heated, it's saltwater based. So those spots that you see are more of the salt water. You also see that there's all these different areas that really are vacuum or actually propel the unit. So the robot basically has, again, 2 sets of scrubbers, one in the front and one in the back. And once you start having the robot clean, what ends up happening is it brings the debris in, and then this one right here keeps it from moving forward, and it actually sucks it in right here. And it has like a little trap door, so whatever comes in, it's not going to come out. Okay, you have sensors everywhere. I think that there were 9 sensors on this robot that are basically monitoring what's going on in your pool, and it will identify dirt, debris, things that it needs to work with. So it's not going to be blindly just going around in your pool, but it has some really cool smarts as well in here. If I open this up, in here you have your tray, and we're going to go ahead and take it out, and you have your tray here for your debris. And here you'll notice I have a lot of fine debris in here, nothing really major, but you can see kind of that dust right there. That's going to be like just dirt that gets accumulated from the air. We have a lot of trees, we have a lot of birds in our backyard. And then over here you see this is kind of like the roller. This roller here, as it's skimming on the surface, this kind of helps it bring in all of the debris that it is bringing in as it's skimming the top of my pool. So here you have everything. It's easy to go in, it's easy to take out. And what I found really interesting with this when I first got it was that it didn't have a cover, and I was like, am I missing something, right? Am I missing a part? And I was worried that as it was sucking things in, that it was going to basically deal with maybe some type of leakage of debris, but it doesn't, because when the cover comes in, and you can see that cover, we'll bring it in right here, that cover, basically it seals things really, really nicely. You don't have any problems with things going on here at all. So really nice, again, system. You have a lot of sensors. It dives really nicely into the pool when it's time to go in. And one of the things I wanted to mention about this is that it has a contactless charger. That's the other thing I really love about this. So we put these in the pool, we run them, and then we put them to charge, right? One of the things I really, I'm not a fan of, but it's just the reality that these are electric, is plugging them in and putting them to charge. This has a contactless charging solution, just like if you were to take your phone. So if I grab my phone and I have this little contact point and I put it to charge, this does the same thing. So you're gonna see the docking station that it has is completely wireless. All you do is you put your charger, your robot on top of it, and it charges. Now over here, you can see this is the control cluster, right? So if I turn this on over here, and I already heard it making some noise where it's kind of like getting ready, but you'll be able to move to different areas and choose different settings based on what you're really looking to set up. So I'm going to turn it on, and you can see it's going to cycle through this. And basically what you're doing is getting the power up sequence right now. What I'll then be able to do is choose which one of these I'd like to have active, right? And you'll notice that it has a eco, auto, and a max mode. And then you can see I can cover the entire pool, which means surface, and it literally means the surface. Like it's going to float like if it was a boat capturing debris. It could do the bottom only, the walls only in the bottom, or it could just do the top only. And then you have the ability to select and choose things through here. Now, it does have a really capable and powerful app, which I'm going to bring up on camera. That app is also going to help you when it comes to just choosing what should be happening with your robot. Now, it's Bluetooth connected or Wi-Fi connected, and it's going to be able to connect and really communicate with your home network. So if something happens with the robot, you're going to be able to be communicated with it as well. Now, as soon as you go in the app, and you can see the app right here, what we have is just all the robots. You can see I have had this one running 6,345 minutes. Not this guy right here, but some of the floaters, because they're solar. They just run forever. We just charge them once a season, and then we just put them to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of this guy, and we're going to look at the Scuba. So here we have the Scuba X1 Pro Max. We're going to go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and enter it. And then here you can see it knows, first of all, that the device is not in the water, right? And I can say, hey, what am I going to be doing here? Am I going to be doing the floor? Am I going to be doing, all over, the top and the bottom, which they call the hero mode? Am I only going to do the underwater mode, which is going to be my walls without the top? Walls only, waterline only, or I could use this as a skimmer. And this is one of the features that I would say that are most undervalued or understood. You saw I have skimmers running in my pool. When we go to my pool is crystal clear. And it's not because we're constantly in the pool company making sure that all our, what it says, the balance, the pH, if you think about the alkalinity is 100%, even though we do check that. But because we have so little debris settling in the pool, because our skimmers take care of that, my pool is just healthier. This robot right here is going to help maintain the health of your pool because it will take care of all that debris for you, both on top, and if it doesn't make it to the bottom because you catch it on the top, that's going to be a great thing for your pool, and that's what you're seeing right here. So the cleaning capacity, you have auto, eco, and max. You have the number of times you want it to clean, and pretty much, that's it. There's not much else to it. You'll notice here that there's a little icon there that shows like it's almost like if it was like a little button or something that looks like if it was like a golf tee. That's that additional sensor that we really don't have. But this thing here, again, is going to update itself via Wi-Fi. We have the most latest firmware, and everything about the robot I'm going to know once the robot surfaces. When it goes underwater, you will lose connection unless you have that additional device. But once it surfaces and it's done with its cleaning routine, you're going to know and be able to communicate it with it. Now the docking station is a pretty simple solution. So you can see right here, that little area right there is where the actual suction goes in. So it uses that as a cradle. And then you can see it's almost like it has a giant Qi charger where it says AIPER right there. Once you put it in here, it starts to charge. So to show you how this charges, all you do is you take your robot, you place it into the docking station, just like that, and it starts to charge. So that top, that plug that was there, that thing that came out, basically holds it in place, and then you start charging. And super convenient because you don't have to plug something. You don't have to worry about it getting caught in the rain. It's just a great solution. Now, as I mentioned, our pool is really healthy. You can see how nice the water looks. And you can see that we have one robot there. And as I pin over there, you can see the other robot that does its cleaning. And I have these guys running all the time. So that's the S1 and the S1 Pro. They're solar, so all you do is charge them once a season. Literally, I plug them in once. And then the solar energy keeps them going and taking care of everything that's going on in our pool. And you can see it's doing a really decent job here, right? Because the pool is very, very clear and clean. I'm gonna pull out just so that you guys can see that a little bit more. You can see one over there by the steps. And that one's already stopped because the sun is going down and the charging level is pretty much probably being recharged, right? This guy's still strong and going and probably will continue to go a little bit more. That's the S2. And then you could see I have some debris there. That's probably the only area of the pool that is dirty because we have trees, and our trees, with the wind and stuff like that, we always get some form of debris. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the robot in the pool, right? I'm gonna drop it in, and you're gonna see it kind of like start to get to the bottom, and I'm gonna have it do bottom only. And you're gonna see how it will basically sink to the bottom, and it's doing that now. And once it gets to the bottom, it will start cleaning and just checking out the floor. Now, I have it only with bottoms right now because there's no need. My walls look really good. I'm just gonna go ahead and do the bottom. I probably would do a full scan, meaning the walls, the actual water line as well, because that also helps with algae. So if you don't want to you don't want to deal with algae, having that happen regularly is a good thing. But here we go. You can see the water is rippling a lot, and that's because it's powering up. And it's going to turn around, so it's starting to trying to figure out where it's at in my pool. And then it's going to start doing its thing. And that debris that you see there will be gone, guaranteed. It's just going to take care of it. And this is how we save so much time. I don't want to come back from work and then spend time cleaning a pool. Those robots that are floating around, they'll take care of doing the majority of the work, right? And then this guy right here comes in and takes care of some of the areas that, just got away. He snuck in, and you can see how it's starting to go over that spot right there, and how whatever was there is gone, right? Look at how much it took. And it's going to continue, and it almost has so much suction power that notice how I pulled the debris with it, right? And that area, I would say, and it's still pulling more with it. Check that out. That area is now, would you say 60% cleaner? Maybe 70%, given that that's the only area that needed to be cleaned. Check that out. There's hardly anything left, right? So there's hardly anything left there. And it did just a great, great job of taking care of that. Pretty fantastic, right? So it's going to go through and it's going to go ahead and it already knows our pool. And the suction is so strong. You can see that it has kind of like still some of those leaves are following it. Let me zoom in. Look at that. Try to get it underwater, see if we can get that underwater shot. Literally, I can see the little leaves that were there just right behind it because it has so much suction there that it's just taking it with. It's like a hurricane or tornado that is underwater that is just driving everything with it. The other thing that you'll notice is that the movement of the robot was really fast. You know, if you think about it, when we just put it in the water here and then how fast it moved over there. And this is going to be able to cover 3,200 square feet. So it's fast and it's going to cover your pool really quickly. And once again, I have it only for the bottom, right? And you can see how it's thinking. It has like 9 different sensors that is kind of checking things out, and it'll just take care of cleaning my pool. And remember, all I have is that left. So once it sees that area right there, that corner, it takes care of it, I'm pretty much done. Pool cleaning for the day is done. So the question is, would I recommend this robot? Absolutely, I would. We're going to have that doing some surface once it's done, so you can see it at the very top. But the fact that this is an all-in-one device, literally, this robot here does the job of this robot and a standard robot. So it, again, does the floor, the walls, and it'll take care of the top as well. That is a powerhouse when it comes to pool maintenance. All right, so cleaning cycle is over. You can see our pool is crispy clean, and our other robots are still doing their job. And this guy actually came over to the wall, but since there's a lot of water movement, he's kind of floating a little bit away. But you could see how high up the robot is just floating there. And that's what I really love about this system. It will come over to the side and you just got to pull it out. I have a lot of stuff going on in the pool with the robots creating wake as they're going through, but it would be right here in the corner and I would just lift it out. All right, so we've enabled skimming mode, and this is a really cool mode. And as you can see, it's almost like you have a robot that has a jet ski. it's just plowing around, and it's and you can see like kind of like where the water's coming out of. I think it's super cool, but it is going to start really skimming the surface of the pool, and you can see it do its thing. Check that out. All right, now while the robot is doing its skimming, and you can see it doing its thing and just going through and clearing up the actual pool, you'll notice that the app itself also has kind of like a visual representation of the process that's taking place. And now it's kind of going in a straight line, working out, you know, just the area. And you can see the front propellers moving. It's like a giant, I don't know, like whale, like just going through and just lifting itself out of the water to kind of bring in any kind of debris that it can detect. Now, keep in mind, my other guys are also working, so hopefully this guy's not going to have to work too hard, but you can see how this process would work and take care of the top of your pool as well as the bottom. So literally what I would do in my case is, since the bottom is clean, I would still put it on the top, you know, let it run for a little bit just to make sure that it gets everything that's on the top, so you don't have to worry about any extra stuff, bugs or other things floating on the top of your pool. So guys, that wraps up our review. See you in the next video.